a huge problem that I've actually like really, since we're talking more about theory of things, like had to overcome and work on is my age. You know, ageism, or people who are way older in an industry looking at a young newcomer coming in and being like, hey, aren't you 16? Or, you know, making it appear that I'm much younger than I really am. And then you talk to somebody for 5 minutes. And I think once I'm able to talk to somebody and express my opinions and articulate myself, their opinion usually does flip pretty fast. It's just getting into that initial meeting, or
that's awesome.
getting the foot into the door for that initial meeting for that to happen. That's probably the biggest challenge by far, actually, now that I've had a few minutes to analyze it.
I think that's like a common thing in really any industry.
Yeah.
And it is for me, it was like a mindset thing, kind of, where originally I was like, yeah, but they're going to be like, oh, how old is he? And then I realized it's like, yeah, they may think that, but if you're able to prove yourself, then it's like they're not even considering your age. They're just considering what you actually do, which is like the most important thing.
Exactly. And that's why I enjoyed NFTs so much, because to a certain degree there was anonymous nature of it. So it didn't matter how old you were. It didn't matter what you looked like. It didn't matter where you were from. You could literally just have your profile picture up and that was your identity. So that was a very interesting, or probably one of my favorite aspects of that whole industry last year, or over the last couple of years, is that anonymous aspect to it. Now, sure, does it lead to rug pulls and a couple bad actors doing very bad things? Yes. But I think the net cost of it is positive.
You could be like a 13-year-old kid from Japan.
Yeah,
like,
one of
just
the
a super genius
players, or winners of the space, if you will, last year was a 15-year-old kid from Indonesia who bought it the Takashi Murakami drop, got like 30% of the spaces, and he made 17 million.
Wow.
And
kid from Indonesia
he just wrote a script to bought everything.
That's absolutely insane.
So, and that's the beauty of it, is that whole market was trading greed and fear, human emotions. So if you had an understanding of like basic human emotion, if people are hyping something up, you buy it, and then you sell it in that time frame before they FUD it, essentially, then you were going to do really well in that space last year. And that kid probably just saw a great opportunity. There was probably no limit on how many whitelist entries you could apply for or whatnot, and he just exploited on that opportunity. And that's what I really enjoyed about it, is like the alpha that we were getting from people in Twitter spaces and everything was, you'd log on and there'd be a 45-year-old guy who's putting his baby to bed in London, and there'd be an 18-year-old kid from LA, and there'd be like a 35-year-old from Chicago, and they'd all be working towards solving the same problem or figuring out the same thing.
I want to go back to that topic of ageism, because yesterday I had like the experience where, hey, you just labeled out, if you get really proficient in what what you're talking about, then all of a sudden people's perception of you like pretty much flip within the first 5 to 10 seconds of them talking to you, because then they realize, oh shoot, this kid actually knows what he's talking about and he has a really good shot of being successful. So I really want to talk to you more about like that mindset shift or building up personal confidence. Like, what did that journey look like to feel comfortable of overcoming any type of ageism or objection of being newer into the space, breaking into something that's been around for so long?
Got it. So I think going back into my career, like with my clothing resale, streetwear resale business, that gave me the opportunity to start doing deals with people who are older than me, but not older than me on a super intimidating level where they're my parents' age or my grandparents' age or significantly above that. They're 20 years old at the time, 25 years old at the time, 30 years old at the time, and I was like 15, 14 to 18 years old. So they were still kind of in that same generation where it felt like, okay, this is just an older kid I'm talking to. That gave me the first level of confidence to be like, okay, I can work with people who are older than me, and it's not a big deal. And then networking in the city, meeting a bunch of watch collectors that are super successful, very high functioning people that are all there to share their passion on a super incredible piece of art, which is watches. Um, that gave me the ability to talk about something I was very passionate about and very knowledgeable about in those types of environments with older, successful individuals. Once I felt comfortable enough in that, I just applied that same feeling to business or meetings or networking in business, where it's really the same deal. If you're knowledgeable enough on something, then you should in your mind have the peace of mind and clarity or the confidence to go out and speak about it. And really for the last 2 years, I've had no problems at all networking. I love it. I'll meet anybody and just go from there. But, I still run into this ageism thing where I'll be in a meeting and I can definitely tell, okay, like, the initial handshake part, he's like, this is not who I was expecting over the phone. Oh. And then within another 5 to 20 minutes, they're back to their normal at ease because they realize, okay, you're the same person I was talking to on the phone. Just because you look so much younger doesn't change any factors. So that's usually the way I go about it. And I've never had an issue where I've lost a client or a job's been turned down because of my age. Yeah. So obviously the results are there to back it up. It's more so just alleviating people's early impressions. People read books by covers, even though they're not supposed to.
Yeah.